The Leading Light Communist Organization is an internationalist organization that exists to initiate the next great wave of communist revolution. It exists in many countries, both in the proletarian Third World and the bourgeois First World. The LLCO is guided by the revolutionary science of this phase of the struggle in the 21st century, the theory and practice of leading light communism.
Imperialism is a bane of our time. Countries and people are dominated for the interest of profit over people's welfare. We live in a world of poverty, hunger, and this creates abundance of resources. This contradiction is a fundamental contradiction in our society. It is high time the world become conscious of this problem and find ways to address it. And this is where communist doctrine comes in. To us, at Leading Light Communist Organization, communist doctrine is not a dogma, but it's a guide to action.
It may seem hopeless. However, there have been a moment when humanity reached higher, tried to be something better. Communism is the solution. We want communism. We want a world without poverty, exploitation, oppression, ecological destruction, or political borders that divide people. We want a world where production is managed collectively and scientifically provide equal benefit to all humans, while rehabilitating our natural ecosystem. We want a global society where the productive principle is from each according to ability and the distributive principle is to each according to need.
We want continuous revolution under the new socialist transition to communism. The new socialist transitional stage does not proceed in a straight line. The new socialist states that come into being are likely to be scattered and isolated across the proletarian world. Old productive forces, social relations, and culture that persist under new socialism provide the social basis for a new bourgeois class to emerge, even as this new bourgeois class will claim to uphold communism. Only through many proletarian cultural revolutions can the proletariat maintain its dictatorship over the bourgeois elements that inevitably emerge within the new socialist states. This new culture maintains the proletariat's momentum towards communism under new socialism.
We want new socialism on a global scale, the dictatorship of the proletariat in the 21st century. The victory of People's War may initially lead an anti-imperialist alliance of classes to topple the neo-colonial old powers across the proletariat world. But there will be little momentum towards communism without a new socialist proletarian dictatorship, leading with the revolutionary science of leading light communism. The new socialist regimes must unite and impose their hegemony whether the bourgeois world wants it or not.
We want a global united front against the bourgeois world and its neo-colonial agents. The new power of the leading light and its people's armies will ally with all forces who turn their arms towards the main enemy, the bourgeois First World. At the same time, the leading light will not liquidate itself into this global united front, but rather seek to give it conscious, scientific, revolutionary leadership.
We want a global people's war of the proletarian world to defeat the bourgeois world and its neo-colonial agents. The People's War of the Leading Light is a war of movement to topple the old powers and to expand and deepen the people's new power, not to bargain for a seat at the neo-colonial table. People's wars around the proletarian world are part of a global people's war, and the emerging new socialist countries led by the leading light are the red base areas of this global people's war.
We want a people's army. Without a people's army, the people have nothing. The People's Army defends and expands the new power until winning initial victory, the establishment of a new socialist state. The People's Army's function is not solely military in scope, but also takes part in production and cultural work alongside the masses, playing a conscious role in making revolution during the War of Position phase. The People's Warriors will be drawn from the masses of people themselves, as they are won over to the theory and practice of leading light communism through the political education and mass programs of the new power. The slogan of the People's Armies, from now until we achieve communism: serve the people.
We want to build the new power, the foundation of new socialist transition to communism. We must create a seat in the way by building farms, infrastructure, clinics, schools, people assemblies, and courts, etc. We build this Serve the People program as a replacement to the existing neo-colonial institutions dominating the proletarian world, while we work to topple the neo-colonial state. We will not expect the masses to stand and fight for communism if leading light communists cannot make sacrifice for the masses first.
We want leading light communist politics in command. We are not seeking to make life slightly more tolerable for the masses of people on the planet, as do the many toothless NGOs that exist to serve imperial capital. We are seeking to tear down the global capitalist system and uproot its foundations from the planet. This requires us to raise resources for the LLCO, recruit new comrades, spread our message, and continually struggle for the correct revolutionary scientific line.
The last great socialist revolutions taught us many things. However, we need to understand that they are over. The last great waves of revolution have ended, even though scattered, shattered fragments remain. We will not go forward by merely looking backward. We will not go forward by trying to opportunistically cobble together the remnants of the past. Instead, we must learn from the past in order to surpass it, to go forward. We must study the past, sum up the past, advance the science, prepare ourselves, build the organization, cultivate the leadership to initiate the next great wave of communist revolution. There is such an organization being built, based on the revolutionary science that the masses of people need to wield in order to win victory. That organization is the leading light communist organization. We have the line, we have the leadership, we have the organization, we have all the fundamentals that a vibrant international communist movement in the 21st century will need to not only bring about a new socialist renaissance, but to put humanity on a conscious path to actually achieving communism on a global scale. Join us on this new long march to revolutionary victory after revolutionary victory until everyone on earth is free.
So nobody is free until everyone on earth is free. So let's salute communists.